Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stellaris by Paradox Interactive. Really excited to bring this one to you guys. This has been highly anticipated by myself and I know by a lot of you. You guys have been asking me on Twitter, asking me on YouTube, you know, when am I going to play, when am I going to play? And here we are, finally, episode 1 for the series. Let's get right into it. I'm not going to waste any time talking too much about it. I know a lot of you guys already know what this game is about, so we're going to go ahead and start a new game. I've got roughly 10 hours in the game so far. I've gone ahead and set up the race that we're going to play as. We're going to be the Imperium of Man. We'll go ahead through the, I'll click the edit here so we can actually go ahead and go over everything that I picked. But I went ahead and set it up so that way I wasn't trying to make decisions on certain things. And we can get right into the game, and I won't bore you guys for too long with just setting up the game. So for appearance here, we went with, of course, mammals and humans in particular. We got just the our names are human, so that's easy enough. For the name list, I just went with the human number 2. So keep moving forward there. For traits, now for traits, I picked quick learners and charismatic. I wasn't really sure. I kind of juggled a bunch of these through a couple different games. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to go with, and I decided to just go with 2 positive traits, kind of give myself or make it not too difficult right off the bat. There are some negative traits you could take here. For anybody that doesn't really know what they're looking at, I can actually kind of maybe explain a little bit of what's going on here, so that way those of you who are not aware can see what's happening. So you've got trait points actually that you could pick from. So if I actually were to take both of these off, you'll see I start with 2 and 4. So trait points are how many points I can spend, and trait picks are how many actual traits I can get. So there's a cap on all of these traits. You can see some of them are -1. If I click on that, I've now taken 1 trait, and it's a negative trait. So I get a trait point. However, I go down on how many traits I have left to pick. So only a maximum of 4, both positive and negative. And then I only start with baseline of 2. And if I want to get more of those, then I got to take some of the negative traits. But we're just going to go with 2 positive traits, quick learners and strong. Quick learners gives us our leader experience gain of plus 25%, which is huge. I'll get more into the future. Talking into the future. I'll get more about that in the future later as we get into the game. I'll explain how that helps us out so much. And then we've got strong, pretty self-explanatory. Army damage plus 20% and minerals plus 5%. Moving on. So our ruler, I just picked a male ruler. His name's going to be Simon Stewart. And I just different variants here to make him look like this. So we're just going to continue on there. For our name and class, so our homeworld name, it does start as Earth. However, I switched it over to Terra because I think that's just a way cooler name when it comes to space. So we went with Terra. Star name, we're going to start in the Sol, or with the star Sol in the Sol system. And continental worlds are going to be our planets of choice for colonization, as well as the planet that we start on. I could switch it if I wanted to. There really is no particular bonuses across the board for any of these. It really is all kind of the same. I've heard that some of these planets show up a little bit more than the other ones, but no big deal. Moving on, we're just going to get the standard city that we come with. Now for government ethics, so oh boy, I really thought long and hard about this one. Actually, I did change this a little bit. So right now, let me take these off so you can see what we're looking at. So we get 3 ethic points to spend. You've got your inner circle. Each one's worth 1 ethics point. And the outer circle is kind of a more fanatics, and they're worth 2 ethic points. So we can choose 3 of the 1 if we wanted to, or we could choose 1 of each and a 2. And I wasn't really sure what to go with, so I decided I definitely want to be a militarist. Because I'm going to be, I like playing a more aggressive game. And materialist as well was a really good one. So if we actually take a look at that, it gives us a really good physics, society, and engineering output. So that's going to give us a bonus when it comes to research. And for the military, we're looking at alliance influence cost is a little rough. It's a plus 50%, but we get a rival influence gain, which I'll explain later down the road, kind of how that works. But we also get bonuses to our army damage and our war happiness. Not too bad there. However, I have 1 point left to spend, and I did have it in Xenophile, but I was half tempted to change that. And I don't remember what I changed it to. I changed it at one point. I think I was just going to go with Fanatic Materialist. That gives me a really big bonus on science, which is going to be awesome. So we'll stick with Fanatic Materialist. Now, taking a look over here, based off of the ethics you choose, that is what will allow you to pick certain types of governments. So I know we're kind of an Imperium. However, I do want to go for, I think, a science directorate. I think that's pretty cool. So it's basically a government where a committee of scientists supervises the government apparatus for a maximum efficiency. So that's kind of neat. So basically a board of scientists are what are going to rule our government. I think that's the coolest thing ever. I feel like that would just be an awesome government type, just having like a board of just really smart scientists arguing over things that they think are good for society and good for mankind, not so much what's good for, the individual. So it's kind of neat. They've got all sorts of government types here, and I'm not going to go over all of them because that would take forever. But just know that the Science Directorate, we get a research alternative +1 and an empire leader capacity of +1. And once again, those might not mean anything to you now, but they will later when I go ahead and explain that. So name, we're going to be the Imperium of Man, and our adjective is going to be Imperium. Moving forward, I've already gone ahead and picked the flag. This actually kind of looks like the flag that the Imperium uses in Warhammer 40k, so I thought that was pretty cool. For those of you out there that are big Warhammer 40k fans, there you go. And moving forward, weapons. So the starting weapons, I'm going to go with missile weapons. I had it on projectile, but I'm not going to do projectile. I'm going to do missile weapons. So missile weapons are very good. They have excellent range, but they are vulnerable to interception by point defense weapons. So that's going to have to be something that we keep in mind, that point defense can bring these missiles down. However, without point defense, they're actually pretty powerful if you catch an enemy that doesn't have point defense. Okay, for FTL, so faster than light method travel. So there's 3 different types here. We've got warp travel, hyperspace, and wormhole. I'll give a brief explanation of each one for those of you who are not aware. So warp travel basically allows us to travel freely between systems, but it's a little bit slower than any other type of travel. It's pretty good for new players because you can just move between systems without any restraints. Hyperspace travel actually has you traveling on hyper lanes that exist between different stars. So basically you're restricted to following lanes to get to certain places. It's really fast, but unfortunately you're only limited to those existing paths that are generated when the game starts. So you can start coming into issues with getting bottlenecked in certain areas where the enemy might be able to catch your fleet off guard, knowing where you're traveling. And then there's wormhole travel, which is for advanced players. And basically you have to build wormhole stations that allow you to expand outwards, explore outwards, and allow you to... These wormhole stations have a range, and it allows your ships to almost instantly transport between 2 different systems, but it's a little tricky to kind of set up properly, so that way it's efficient. However, we're going to be using wormhole travel because it was the first one that I started with when I started my very first game, because advanced players immediately caught my eye. And I really wanted to play it, and I'm glad I did because it's way better. Wormhole travel is extremely awesome once you get the hang of it. It's difficult to get the hang of it, but once you do, it's actually really neat and interesting how you can set it up to be efficient. So, in ship appearance, we're just going to go with these standard ships. All right, so there we go. Kind of an overview of what we have. We'll go ahead and actually save this. So that way I don't lose it again. But there we go. So we're going to go ahead and click Done. And this is going to set us to the game detail screen. So galaxy size, of course, we're going to go with huge. Galaxy shape, we're going to just stick with elliptical. AI Empires 29. Advanced AI starts 8. This controls how many of the regular AI empires will start with an additional advantage in resources taken on the population. They do not gain additional bonuses besides a stronger starting position. This setting does not affect falling empires. I'm actually going to turn that down to 4. So we'll just have 4 really powerful ones. Actually, we'll do 6. So 6 of them that start a little bit advanced, and the rest of them just staying on the same level as us. For difficulty, I asked you guys what difficulty you wanted to see me play, and surprisingly, you guys chose normal. I was expecting maybe like hard or insane. I was getting a little nervous and starting to sweat because I wasn't sure I was ready for those, but you guys picked normal, and I'm okay with that because this will allow us to see more of the end game stuff anyways, so long as I don't die on normal, which would be extremely embarrassing. We're going to allow any FTL method, so any of the other races can choose randomly, or will get randomly assigned any of the other FTLs. And Iron Man mode, we're going to just stick to that. We're going to just keep that off for this game. As achievements come out and everything, we'll go ahead and take a look at those. But for now, we'll just keep it off while as I play this very first game. And then as I play games in the future, we'll go ahead and we'll turn a lot of those, we'll turn Iron Man on. We'll try to get some achievements. We'll do all sorts of really cool stuff and mess around with it. But here we go. So starting the game, I'll go ahead and read this. So, in the eons since the first primitive human communities took shape on the grassy savannas of Terra, our civilization has spread and prospered. Through scientific progress, we have managed to stamp out the superstitions that ruled the minds of our ancestors. As reason and rational thought spread among our people, the inefficient nation states that we had until then organized ourselves into were disbanded, and a council of our most accomplished scientists was gathered to rule in their stead. Now, after the successful creation of artificial subspace wormholes, the finest minds of the Imperium of Man have finished construction of the first wormhole station at the edge of our system. The stars themselves are finally within our grasp. So pretty cool. This actually changes based off of the government and the race you play and the FTL you choose and ethics and such. So it's kind of interesting. This will be different almost every time you start a game, so long as you choose different traits and ethics. So we're going to begin. Here we are in the Sol system. You might notice that a lot of these planets, and by a lot, I mean all of them, are actually planets from Sol, our own home system. You would be correct if you play as the humans and you start in the Sol system. Not only do you actually have, you actually start in the Sol system with all of the planets, but you actually start close to these stars that are close to us, such, well, not that black hole, but Bernard Star, Alpha Centauri, Sirius. There's a couple of them here, so that's pretty interesting. Let's see where we actually are in the galaxy. All right, so here is the galaxy. Interesting enough, we're actually on the outer rim over here, so that could pose a nice strategical advantage to us, because we don't have to worry about being somewhere in the middle where we got to worry about all sides of us. We can pretty much assume nobody's over here, so we can create a nice wall and just fortify, you know, around the frontier part of where I'll assume our empire will start ending. So that is pretty awesome. All right, let's get back in our system here. Now, this game has a lot going on. There's a lot to look at. And we're going to go ahead and pause it real quick. Actually, let's go ahead and increase the speed. I want to play on fast this whole time because I find that a lot more convenient. We're going to take our science ship, going to go ahead and start surveying our system. Let's hope that we can find some anomalies. Let's hope that we can find some really good resources. Take our construction ship. I just like to put him off to the side so he's out of my way. And there we go. All right, let's take a look at Terra. So here is our home planet of Terra. We can see not bad. Taking a look at the surface. Actually, take a look at the governor real quick. So pretty good happiness bonus. Construction timer, clear blocker, slave mineral output. That's interesting. Slave food output. It's not going to do us any good, but I don't plan on having any slaves, at least not this early in the game. Taking a look at actually holy Terra, so the actual surface of Terra here. We've got a planetary administration, which is our capital, and a couple of buildings built, as well as some workers that don't have buildings built. This faded out human here, you can see she's actually, that is a growing pop, so she's not actually fully there yet. We could move her, however. But when that bar fills, that'll actually turn into another population. You can see our science ship out there going and doing some surveying. We'll take a look at that real quick because it's really cool. It's pretty awesome. Look at how beautiful that looks. It's great. All right. It looks so good. Is there anything I want to move around? We are going to want to get some more food. We're not doing bad on minerals. Let's actually... Let's see. We won't build anything on here just yet. Let's hold off on that. Let's actually get our research going. That's probably something I should do pretty early. So we've got 3 types of research here. We can click on them and take a look. So the research system's actually randomized, which is really awesome. You know, you might think like a Sword of the Stars or something like that. It's very similar to that extent when it comes to randomized, which I think is great because it's going to make extremely unique playthroughs. But taking a look right here at physics, we've got planet fortification toughness. Not really useful just yet. Deflectors are useful, but let's see. We got research speed plus 5% could be useful. A physics lab, and a solar panel network. Now, here's something interesting to note. Playing as the government type that we're playing, which was the scientific, what was it? The scientific Directorate. So we actually get a research alternatives +1. So whereas normal government types will only see 3 of these options, we actually see 4 of them. That's kind of a big deal, so keep that in mind. Being able to get 1 more additional card means that we have a higher chance of drawing more rare technology cards to research. So going ahead, I think we'll just get the research speed +5% out of the way, because that's just only going to help progress us further on as we go. Society here, we've got colony ship. That's actually usually really important to get early in the game, for the fact that colonizing planets is extremely important. All right, we'll take a look at energy or engineering next. Fusion missiles, energy facility, defense platform, army damage +5, minerals +5%. I'm gonna go for the powered exoskeletons. Get that minerals +5%. I think that'll be pretty great, including the army damage +5%. Survey, haven't found anything just yet. Hopefully we'll get something soon. All right, taking a look at our ruler. And there he is, Simon Stewart. Budget, we got our policies. I'm not going to go ahead and mess with any of these just yet. We'll kind of go through a lot of these screens, and I'll explain what they are as the game progresses. However, there's no reason to really go over too much of that now. We may actually jump ahead and build ourselves a second science ship. Just because we know we're going to need it. So let's go ahead and queue that up. 2 science ships are pretty much going to be imperative to our success in the game. And there we go. Our scientist has gained a level, which was another thing that was really important. I think it was one of our ethics, correct? No, was it if it wasn't that, then it was the government type. Oh, that gives us an Empire leader capacity. Okay, I'll go over that in a second. There was something I picked. It was a trait. But it was a trait of our... Here we go. Yeah, we had the leader experience gain. So our scientist over there gained some experience. She gained a level. That leader experience gain is going to be what influences that. So plus 25%. Not bad at all. That means that our scientists are going to be very skilled very quickly, and so aren't any of our other leaders, whether that comes down to scientists, generals, or anything like that. Going to be very, very, very important.
Construction complete.
All right, so we've got that other science ship, and now we can actually take a look. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. So actually taking a look at this here, you can see that we have to assign them a leader. So if we actually go to the leader screen here, we've got all of our scientists here. There's governors here, admirals, and generals. So we've got each scientist in one of the research categories, and then 1 scientist on our ship. Now, normal empires start with only 10 leader capacity. We start with 11, so that's what the +1 gives us. I can go ahead and recruit another scientist for this exploration ship here. We've got leader recruitment cost, so he's a little bit cheaper. And by cheaper, I should probably explain this as well. Lots of stuff to explain. They cost influence to actually purchase leaders, and influence to do other things. You usually earn influence through just through setting rivals. You could do it through upgrading buildings. You could do it through certain random events will give you influence, and influence is used to purchase leaders, and it's used to do to enact some policies and stuff like that. So influence is actually pretty important. So now taking a look at this, so the recruitment cost, you can see this guy's a little bit cheaper. Research speed, probably not too useful, and research speed for Voidcraft, research speed for New World. So neither of these leaders are really that useful for because they have a bonus of research speed, which is not going to help us for our science ship. However, this person who's a little bit cheaper is probably the best choice. We can actually see their skill level. They're all skill 1, so not really useful there. The age is also pretty important because these leaders will die. They're not going to live forever. So, you're not going to want to get somebody that's extremely old because you're kind of wasting influence on the fact that they might not be around forever. So he's not a bad choice. We're going to go ahead and select him for our new science ship. And we might as well go ahead and explore this black hole here, because that can actually be a really nice early game find for research stations. And speaking of stations, we did discover some minerals and some energy credits in our home system. So kind of explaining what's going on up here, energy credits are kind of like your currency. They're used to pay for maintenance costs for buildings and such. So most buildings might cost 1 or 2 energy credits to operate on a monthly basis. So you got to always make sure you balance your energy credits just like you would balance your budget or something in a game that has a currency like gold or something. So this energy credits is your currency. Minerals is what you use to build ships and buildings and such. So it's your building materials. And then we've already gone over influence. Over here, these are just the different research types, the physics, society, and engineering, and you can increase those by building research stations and such on planets and over certain anomalies and such, like and stuff like that, like the black hole and whatnot. And the higher these get, obviously, the faster your research goes. All right. For those of you guys who are somewhat familiar with the mechanics of the game, I hope I'm not boring the crap out of you, but for those of you that I know a lot of you probably won't be, I just want to make sure I'm explaining kind of what's going on. Let's see, so almost got this system completely surveyed. Oh, there we go. So we got an anomaly. Now we can actually take a look here and see the level is level 2 and the failure risk is 50%. So I'm actually going to leave it be for now, wait for our scientists to gain a higher level, and then we'll go back and try to see if we can lower that risk so it's not so high. Whilst we're doing that, why don't we start building some mining stations? Let's go ahead and we're going to put one on Jupiter, and then we're going to go ahead and put one on Europa, and we might as well just go ahead and queue one up over here. Oh, we don't have the minerals to do that. Okay, that's fine. So we'll just queue those 2 up and go take a look at the black hole that we discovered here. So there is a planet here getting torn apart, as you can see. However, nothing on that planet, so not useful there. We're hoping the black hole is going to give us some type of research bonus, like physics or something. That would be nice.
System survey complete.
That's what I'm talking about. 5 physics. Awesome. Let's take our science ship. We'll go explore Sirius next. And then I'll probably send a construction ship down here. Go ahead and get a research station up and running as soon as I get the minerals and whatnot in our home system secured. And we can send this science ship off to do Alpha Centauri next. That'll be the plan, but you can see we zoom in on here, our construction ship, throwing up a mining station to get these energy credits. Mining stations don't cost, mining stations over energy credits don't cost any maintenance because they consider to pay for themselves because they're mining energy credits. But mining stations over anything else like minerals are going to cost us credits. So there we go, letting us know that we built the mining station. Oh, nice. That is great. So we've got 2 more there, so that's pretty good. And if this anomaly is anything good, then we could be sitting in a pretty good spot. So I don't want to do the anomaly just yet because we don't have a high enough skill to make it really worth our while. So we're just going to send our scientists off to go check out Alpha Centauri. And just letting us know that the anomaly fleet order finished. All right. How are we doing over here in this system? Pretty good, just going through and surveying. Haven't really found anything of particular notice yet. However, there is a continental world in here, so that's pretty important. We'll be able to colonize this. Once we survey it, we can actually take a look at the surface and see. It's very possible that there's already a primitive race there living. So Alpha Centauri should also, yes, it does. Actually has an Arctic world as well. But yeah, they do have a habitable world as well here. And we're surveying that now, so as soon as we're done, we'll take a look and see. How you looking at experience? Not bad.
Anomaly found.
Oh, here we go. We found another anomaly. Let's go ahead and pause this for a second. So we're definitely going to leave that be for now because we do not have the skill for that. So the UNS Remembrance has made a startling find on Alpha Centauri 3. The planet is teeming with alien life. For the first time in history, we have encountered life forms that did not originate on Terra. This amazing discovery has silenced those who believe we were alone in the universe. Although none of the alien creatures found on Alpha Centauri 3 are sentient, it is likely only a matter of time before we encounter beings that are. We may not be alone out here, and we get a society research bonus for that. So taking a look, you can actually see on the surface that there is alien life. There's actually some dangerous wildlife here. But other than that, a really good planet. Definitely worth colonizing, and something that we're probably going to colonize in the very near future. So that is where we're sitting. Oh, the Imperium Man has a buzz with news of alien life found by the UNS Remembrance. While hardly intelligent by human standards, the fascinating beings defy easy classification, hint immense complexities, possibilities of the universe. Just talking about the people we found in Alpha Centauri. So that's where we sit with that. However, we are at the end of this episode. I think next time we're just going to keep exploring and moving out. Definitely early game, but we'll see where it goes. Definitely excited to play this with you guys. I hope you're just excited as I am to take part in the journey. Let me know if you guys have any unique names or anything for ships or for fleets or planets or anything. I'll definitely go ahead and enter in any names that you guys are interested in. However, that won't be, I'm going to be bulk recording these episodes. That's good to keep in mind, actually. I'm going to be bulk recording a lot of these episodes, so if you give me names and tips, they won't get entered until episodes and episodes down the line, and you'll see that when that happens, so long as you follow along with the series. However, thank you for joining me. I do hope you guys enjoyed this first episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time.